what's going on, guys? It's Ray, and working on a new song. And in the last video we talked about putting down the guitar tracks, laying down the drum tracks and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And then also putting the bass track down. So I'm about to put some new tracks down using Mesa. And last time we talked a little bit about panning guitars, and so in this video here I wanted to show you the difference in how I pan a couple of different guitars over. We'll also talk a little bit about saturation levels and also talk about how much gain, how much mid, and all that to use. So on this one here I'm using PRS S2, running it through Mesa, mini rectifier into a 4x12 Vintage 30 is one of my favorites to use. It's got a cool sound to it. I get a little bit of reverb going on and a little bit of Vintage 30s have a cool sound for the metal, and the PRS S2 is not too heavy, doesn't have too, it seems to be a nice mixture of the pickups, not too heavy, not pushing it too much, just a nice warm balance. And I'm also pushing it just a little bit with my Ibanez tube screamer just to push a little bit into the amp. I don't have very much gain, I'll show you that in a second on the amp, but just it's got a good responsive tone to it. It's not overly saturating. Cool sound. So anyway, that's what we're going to do now, and then I'll show you in Studio One what we're working on. Here we are with a little bit better of a view. You can see where my bass, I turned my bass down just a little bit because the RA, the Mesa RA is already fairly kind of on the bottom heavy low end. I don't need a lot of bass, and I don't want to push the bass too much because I've got my bass guitar curving that angle. My mids, you can see there, I go a little bit past the 12, probably around 1 o'clock, sometimes even 2. And my treble, sometimes I'll go up a little bit higher again, specifically because Mesa in this particular amp, the RA100, is a pretty dark amp. And then my gain, again, I'll back that down to even less than halfway here, as you can see. So what we have here now is I've created 4 tracks, and 2 with the Mesa RA100 and 2 with the Mesa Rectifier. You can see I've used different types of amps. I've used a Les Paul Standard, a V with the Mesa RA, and then the Rectifier I've used a traditional Explorer. And what I'm trying to do is really kind of find that balance. And I've panned left and right with the Mesa RA and a left and right with the Rectifier, so that I have 2 left, 2 right, and I can hear kind of a much more open range of tone now. I can hear the stereo being pulled across so that it's not just kind of focused into the center. It's much more open and airy. And you love my term, open and airy. And so, again, one of the things that I'm trying to do here is try to pull out the best tone complementing the different amps and guitars. So for the Mesa RA100, it's a little bit warmer type of amp than the Rectifier, and the Rectifier is more of a punchy low. But with both amps, what I'm trying to do is I'm definitely trying to avoid scooping the mids. I'm trying to add more of my mids in there so that I keep the dynamics of my range. I'm cutting back my bass a little bit because I'm adding a bass guitar in there, and my drum will be in there, so that range is covered. But I want to add the mids, not scoop them, so that I can hear my guitar, regardless if I'm trying to use a warmer or if I'm trying to hit the bottom lows of the Recto. So you can see a little bit here if I push that. That's the Mesa RA now. Now if I do the Rectifier, you'll hear it a little bit different sound, a little more punchy low. All four together. And again, what I'm looking for, and you may have a different setup, or how I, of course, have a different setup, but what I mean is, in what you're looking for and in what tone you're looking for, you may like the sound different. You may like the sound of the one amp versus bringing two amps together that kind of complement and fill out that range, that heavier mid range is what I'm looking for there. Again, I try to avoid scooping the mids best as I can and add more mids so that my guitar stands out more in the mix. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I've got my drums pulled together. As you can see over here, I've been working on my drums and I've got that all set up. I've got my four guitars here, and I'll probably tweak and go back. I'm a big proponent of getting it right all the way across. Versus having to do very much EQing. So these guitars are just kind of the just straight recording right into Studio One. And what we'll do in the next video is talk about what we need to work on here with these tracks, and then what do we want to EQ with them, what do we want to add compression to, and trying to avoid putting too much stuff on them and too much effects. How do we get the best sound of our guitars? So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you again next time.